So here we go. And yes, I know 2K21 is a couple of days away, but yesterday I got an influx of messages with people asking more information on how they could go 12-0, tactics they could use, lineups, etc. So I said I wouldn't do another 2K20 video, but so many people asked that, seeing today that Oscar's clearly on the board still, and people do want to go 12-0 before 2K21 comes out, and probably a lot of people are going to continue to play 2K20 when 2K21 does come out. I thought I'd release a more detailed guide, give you guys exactly what you asked for on the squad and the tactics I use to go 12-0. As I've said a few times, I've done it 5 times this month, once with my Opal squad and 4 times with glitched lineups. This is the easiest time to do it. The first time we've ever had over a month. Anyone who's really sort of got the skill set to go and get Oscar quickly already has it, so you're playing against people who have struggled. That's going to be the main players in the game right now, so it's a good opportunity to go 12-0. Let me break it down in as much detail as I can. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer them. Now let me get into the squad. So, got Isaac Bonga at point guard. He's got length, nothing else. Cam Reddish is a beast, we know that. Andre Iguodala has clamps, use the 77, not the 78. Dean Wade's got the best shot in the game. And Bobby is a 7-foot+ centre who can hold his own. Now, it's 79 overall, this team, as you can see. I'm going to play games today until I meet an Opal team. I'm going to beat that Opal team, as in it has to have at least one Opal. And then I'm going to call it a day. For the playbook, 13 Heat playbook. That's the playbook that you need. It's really, really important that you load that playbook. For coach, Dwayne Casey, any Emerald coach will work because it'll bring the overall down to 79. Whereas a Diamond coach will probably lock in at around an 80. So as I said, I'm going to get into detail today. I'm going to break down the plays. I don't know how many games I'm going to end up playing. As soon as I hit that team with an Opal, I'll show you how to beat a team with the Opal and then I'll stop. But I'm confident this should be all the info you need. Let's get into it. So the majority of lineups you're going to get are going to look like this. You know, this is a starter team. He's got an Amethyst in there. He's got Ruby in there, but he's a starter. Brand new to the game. We're expecting to win this one pretty quickly. So when I load into a game, the first thing I do is I go to my defensive settings, on ball and off ball pressure, go to smother and tight. That closes the space between the defender and the attacker. You go to adaptive coaching engine, turn it off because you want those settings to work, and help defense needs to go to 0 because it is the double team option. Now I've covered all of this stuff in a separate video. It's more detail. For my attacking options, play selection, I go to quick 4 horns flare, and then I go to punch 5 flare rip. Those are the 2 plays I use mainly. To be honest, I only use 4 horns flare when I'm on a glitch lineup. Then freelance goes to point. That's what you need to do. That's all your settings done. Now you may change them if you want to change your defense, but loading into a game, this is how I start. So I see how my team get on defensively. Now we know this team isn't very good. You can see he's fouled straight away. Then I'll activate the point freelance just to make sure my players have got maximum spacing on the floor. So you really want to test this out before changing your tactics. And as you can see, I get a steal there pretty quickly. Let's see what we do on the counter. And that's a bucket. So I'm happy with my defensive settings now. No need to change them. They're working so far. We've got a steal really early in the game. Now at the start of the game, I spoke about this in the defensive video as well. Get out and harry the guy with the ball. Don't give him time. Just get on him. You'll see me, I missed a steal there. My player went flying off the court. But look how quickly I recover. I'm straight back on him. I'm making his life difficult, and there's another steal. Just put pressure on them. Don't give them time. If you give them time, they'll make a better decision. So don't give them time to make that decision. Now, if these settings are working, just keep going with them. Just keep doing what you were doing. Just keep the pressure on. So there's on ball, then I'm off ball, and I'll switch again. I'll just keep switching. Now I can see there's a player open, so I'm just ensuring he doesn't get the ball. But look, he's forcing absolutely everything now. We're a minute into this game, and I can feel my opponent panicking already. And I can feel us flooding him a little bit, to be honest. So defensively, we're set. So all we've got to decide now is what we're going to do on the offense. And with Reddish, he's defending quite deep here. Reddish is going to get that rim run open all the time. Unless he's guarded by an Opal or a pink diamond, he's going to blow by almost every opportunity. Now you can see my opponent's just spamming passes. There's another steal. He's in all sorts of trouble now. And again, Reddish, he might not make every shot. I could feel him missing that shot before he took it. It's still worth taking the shot because he's so good. There you go, he hits the 3. Now at this stage, we're in complete control of the game. What's important now is you just enjoy the game. Like, don't stress, don't worry about anything happening. Just be calm. Let's just go on ball, off ball here, see what happens. And that's another steal. So this game's done and dusted. I'm not going to change any other settings probably, but I might check in, you know, if I change any settings for just demonstration reasons. Let's see what happens. Now this isn't competitive, but just strategically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these free throws to put my team into a zone. So my player is running the rim, and obviously he's not very good, his team's not very good, but if they were, this would be the right strategy. Put your team into a 2-3 zone, you'll close down the paint, and free throws are a really good time to do that. So this is the main play I use. I'm going to get into it in the next play, so we force a 3 second. I use Four Horns Flare. So you activate the play, you know, basically as soon as you inbound the ball. And it's important having a power forward that can shoot. So all you want to do is you want to hold the ball with your point guard or your shooting guard and then basically run around your power forward. Now look at Dean Wade there, wide open for a 3. And you can run that play again and again and again. You're not going to hit every shot because he's an amethyst, but he has got an amazing release. And more times than not, that shot's going to go in. So that's the main play. If you get stuck, that's what you need to do. Now, it's important to know the opposition's cards as well. And I'm very aware during this game that there's a mismatch with Dean Wade. So I can do this again and again and again. He's never going to stop it. His player doesn't have clamps. That's just a free basket every time. So focus on your opposition players as well. And make sure you're defending the right people as well. You know, make sure you haven't got a bronze on an opal. That would be a disaster. Now with Reddish and Dean Wade, you really want to use that combination as much as possible. So I'm going to run this play again. And it's always good to run the Four Horns Flare with Cam Reddish as the main ball handler. So you'll see he's just got the strength to go around. And even though this is contested, goes in. That play just, for some reason, he's just always open. At max, you can get him in sort of 20% contested. And that's even if someone's standing right in front of him with a hand in their face. That's a problem with the game, of course. But, you know, let's exploit it. We're trying to go 12-0. Now, one of the advantages of having an amethyst and a diamond in your team is running deep hash. Now, this is something you might have heard about before, but basically what it means, that's an example of it right there, is running the floor and getting as close to those red markers on either side as you can. For some reason, the defender just loses position and it's so easy to get behind them. So that's, again, a play. With your overpowered cards, especially if they've got a mismatch, you could almost run the floor on every possession in your score. So as this game isn't very competitive and my opponent's not quitting, which is annoying me, I'm going to go into my defensive settings and do them properly. So on-ball pressure, smother, deny ball and off-ball, baseline on forced direction, go over on-ball screen, go under on-ball screen center, catch hedge all on both sides, stay attached, no, off-ball screen go over, post front, and then switch all. Now I'll post those settings below because they're obviously very quick. Don't change any of the other stuff with adaptive coach settings or the help defense. Now, what should happen now is my defense should become so overpowering that it frustrates my opponent into quitting the game. And there's another example of a deep hash run. It's going to be there again and again and again. So our goal now is to get our opponent to quit, because fatigue is a problem with this game, and I don't like playing it too much if I can help it. So if I'm going to end up getting through a few games today, I want to do it as quickly as possible. And you saw there immediately the defense got a steal. They're in the passing lanes. He's paused. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it means we're about to end this game. So let's see what happens. My expectations are that we completely shut this guy down now. Now let's see how little space he's got. The Dean Wade's drifted out of position now. I am aware of that. I know this pass is coming, so I closed that off. He had a bit of space there, but look at the problems he's got now. No, he just ends up taking a bad shot. Those defensive settings are just unstoppable. It's like the ultra zone. Another deep hash, and yeah, goes in. It's going to happen again and again and again. So I know my opponent's just probably seconds away from quitting now. I do hope in these situations that it's not one of those games where he's going to play to 100 to 20 points at the end of it. He's going to get completely blown out and just stay in the game for no reason. So again, takes a bad shot. He seems completely baffled now by what's going on defensively. Can't seem to make any moves. So I'll check back in when he inevitably checks out. So right after those exact free throws, my opponent leaves the game. So we're 1-0 now. Like I said, I'm going to keep playing until I see an opal in the team, because with the 79 overall, you're probably likely only to see one. If you see two, it doesn't change a huge amount because it's usually going to be the center as the second one. But let's see what happens. I'm hoping the next game is an opal, because I don't want to be playing too much of this today. So another favourable matchup, and this is a big part of running this lineup. You're just constantly going to go up against starter teams. You can see his entire team there. He's really got nothing to offer. We're going to do exactly what we did in the last game, and we'll be 2-0 very shortly. So in the interest of speeding this up and reducing my playing time that's necessary today, because I really want to get to that Opal team as quickly as possible, I did my hybrid defensive settings. I say they are Killzamoy's hybrid defensive settings. Go check out his videos. I did it straight away because I wanted to get a blowout quickly here. Launched in the same plays, put in the point freelance. Everything's ready to go. Let's see how quickly we can get this game done and dusted. So when you're in these kind of heavy mismatches, your goal really is to end this game as quickly as possible. It is going to end with a rage quit. So just come out and get aggressive and hit your shots. You know, rim run, do what you need to do. Just get out and get aggressive. So this guy's going to make some defensive changes. Let's see if that has any effect on the game whatsoever. My guess is probably not. Now, it's really important to keep an eye on what your opponent is doing defensively. So you can see there I just scored with Dean Wade. He goes into defensive settings. What he's doing right now can only be one thing, which is changing the matchups to make sure Dean Wade is marked by someone better. That's fine. As soon as I know that, I'll run the next play through Cam Reddish. And what I'll do is I'll let this run until we inevitably get the ball back here. What a block that is. So all I'm looking for now is Cam Reddish. If it goes, another deep hash, another 2 points. So it's pretty evident how this game is going to play out. So what I'll do is I'll skip forward and we'll get into the third game. So as you can see, as we load into the third game, an incredible matchup, a 74 overall. I mean, it's going to go the same way again, isn't it? So let's just get through this one as quickly as possible. But you'll see that's 3 in a row. We've just gone 3-0, basically doing very, very little. So with a mismatch like this, you're obviously going to win the game. There's no dispute there. He hasn't got anyone that can hold up to Dean Wade or Cam Reddish. So what I thought I might do is just run it for a little bit, see how we get on. Dean Wade hits a bizarre shot there. A bit unlucky for my opponent. But yeah, you can see I'm switching to the 2-3 zone quickly because I saw him trying to make his way inside. You know, he's not making that shot in a million years. So I just want you to focus on the defensive positioning, really. Okay, Reddish bricks a shot there. You can see how I'm controlling here. I'm just making sure I'm closing off any avenue he's got to the basket. I'm always between the player and the basket, so he's lost me there a little bit, but we'll get over and we'll contest that. You can see the switching. I mean, I just wouldn't want to be my opponent right now. This is just not a comfortable gameplay. So trying to get around Boban, but it's not going to happen. And yeah, we're breaking. So another thing quickly, just a quick break, use it. Is he going to make up for it? There we go. Use a quick break. If you've got quicker players and stronger players, just run at your opposition. You'll go through them most of the time. So again, it's focused on closing the gap. Then we get a steal. Now we're on a break. Now, just because your opponent's not great at the game doesn't mean you shouldn't use those games to practice what you're going to do later. And you can see I'm really hurrying him now. You know, I tries to get an inbound steal there. I just want him out of the game as quickly as possible. He breaks another shot. And there you go. You can see how quickly we're on the, on the fast break every single time. That's a bad shot, but we just want to put him under as much pressure as you can, because in a game like this, you've only really got one goal, which is just get him to rage quit as quickly as possible so you can get on to the next game. That's it. That's all you want to achieve. Now, I was concerned he wouldn't quit there, but there you go. He's quit. 3-0, and on to the next one. Making good progress here. Now, thank goodness for that. So we've finally got an Opal. We've got Mel Daniels. Again, not the best squad, but there is an Opal in there. And higher overall as well. So this is the game I've been looking for. This will be the last one. Let's see how we get on here. Now, against a slightly stronger team, I went in and did my hybrid settings immediately. I just wanted to come out as strong as I could. You know, again, you're looking for a rage quit in these games. You want to get them done quickly and move on to the next one. But that Opal was a bit of a worry. The rest of the team is okay. But I wanted the best defensive settings, the ones I was most comfortable with right from the start this time. And what I'll do is I'll let it run one more time so you can pause the screen wherever you need to see what the settings are. But you'll see me set absolutely everything up here. Now, it was really evident to me in the third possession in this game that the algo could be against me. I mean, that's an absolute bailout there, really good defence from Boban, and that worried me because I wasn't sure how this game was going to go. So I switched to the zone just to be a bit more comfortable, and the fact that he was running the rim, that's what you want to do in that situation. But I was a little bit concerned here, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to show you some more examples of that algo and how it kicked in throughout the game, and how meaningful algo is, you know, when it's against you, because you're going to see very clearly the difference when it stops happening. So you'll see here, there's another example. Not a great shot, it's late, it goes in. And I should say, I'm really struggling here to even score. You know, nothing's really working the way I wanted it to. I'm taking bad shots. You know, he got over and somehow contested that. Just wasn't going the way I wanted to. Now, here's a good example of, you know, a wide open three. I know Dean Wade's released like the back of my hand. I have no idea why that shot missed. You know, usually if it's that wide open with this game, it will go in anyway, but it wasn't going in. And what I did next was really, really important to any chance I had of winning this game. So the first thing I did was just remain calm. That's the important thing. So I went to my point freelance because I needed to get those corners a little bit more open. And really the point freelance does that. It just spreads it. You can see they're 5 out now. And I felt much more comfortable offensively in this setting. I made sure I had everything the way I like it. And then all I had to do now was wait. Patience is absolutely key at a time like this. Now look how often my player gets blessed here. So that's a near steal. We don't get it. Contest. Goes back out. And we get over and we contest the shot. So that doesn't go in. He gets the rebound. Goes up again. He gets the rebound again, goes up again and scores. So there's probably 3 or 4 times there where we should have taken the ball off him, but it didn't happen. So it was really, really important that I just stayed calm. Now, when you see plays like that, a lot of people will be smashing their controllers, getting angry, getting upset. I'm not like that. I'm really calm. I'm really relaxed. And I just feel confident I can get back in the game. And you can see there, just nothing's working. I probably shouldn't have taken a 3 when the algo was against me, but I tried. And it didn't work, but I was very calm. I felt like, you know, if this is just the algo, then all I need to do is wait, and it will switch. And I hate the fact that algo's in this game, but if you're going to try and go 12-0, you need to be hyper aware of it, and when it's happening to you and when it's on your side. So you can see there again, just absolutely blessed. He was completely bailed out. He had nowhere to go, and the player wasn't controlling, gave him a foul. So this is going to keep happening, and I just need to be really aware of when it switches. And when it switches, I need to flood this guy. Now, it was this very possession where I felt the algo switch. So you can see defensively, we're doing what we've been doing the whole game, but it just felt already like it was working a little bit better. It felt like he was making slightly riskier passes. Just wasn't getting past me as easily. I literally felt it on this possession. And you see how bad that shot is at the end of it. So I feel like something's changed. And if that is the case, then I just need to get out and flood him. And you can see there, immediately when the algo switched, Dean Wade greens a 3. Same release I'd been using all game, but this time it worked. So now I'm certain that the algo switched. So, if you look at the score, my opponent's got 27 points, and I've got 22. Now let's see what happens. So now you can see there's been a huge point shift, and you can see really clearly on the screen now that my opponent, you know, it's clear the algo isn't on his side anymore. It's on our side. He's missing open shots now. We've gone on a 20-point, probably 22 point run, and we're making everything. The difference the algo makes, and think a big reason people don't go 12-0 is when the algo is against them, especially at the start. It was against me for 2 quarters here. I mean, the first 2 quarters, the first half of the game, it was against me, and a lot of people will just give up. They won't have the patience to see through what the game is doing. You're not always in control of the fact that you're losing, and once it switches, if you're the better player and it's going back and forth, you'll still win the game. So stick in the game. That's really important. Let the algo pass. See what the situation looks like at the end of it, and you'll probably come out on top still. So never check out. Just keep the pressure on. Don't relent. Don't give up. Stay in the game. If you're the better player, more often than not, you'll end up winning. So one more offensive tactic. So later in the game, when contact dunkers like Cam Reddish start getting tired, I start calling screens like this. The reason is I need to create a more open path to the hoop. So the longer the game goes on, the more likely I am to use those screens. Now you can use this screen and fade with Dean Wade. The reason I don't use that play as much is because Four Horns Flare basically does the same thing. But later in the game, for sure, you want to start maneuvering your players and creating lanes to the hoop. Remember, the opposition are tired. Now, as you'll see in a second, they were so tired that he called a timeout after this play. So I want to talk about timeouts. So most players, when they're glitching, will call 4 timeouts at the start of the 3rd quarter and 3 timeouts at the start of the 4th quarter, and that's to keep your players fresh. Now, that's not always necessary. If you're really comfortably in control of the game, you have to make a decision here, because every time you call timeouts, you're refreshing your opponent's players as well. So it's a calculated decision. In this game, he called a timeout, and I felt like he was going to get a little bit more energy anyway. So I was like, right, I really want to fund this dude. I need to call timeouts. Cam's struggling to get past the defenders now. Dean's missing open shots. Now's the time to definitely call timeouts. But I probably could have got away with it here and not given him that energy boost as well. I chose to do it, and it's a calculated risk. So I called all four timeouts that I wanted to call in this quarter, and then immediately afterwards this happened. Now, I don't know what you think, but I think that's a bailout. So now I'm concerned halfway through the 3rd quarter. I've already lost 2 quarters to algo. Am I going to lose another quarter and a half? Is, a good 80% of this game going to be against me? So now again, the key to everything is staying calm, because he can still come back here. He can definitely still come back. Positioning was everything now, and you can see I got open for 3, and again, not green, so I'm still aware the algo's against me. My players are all over the place in defense. They haven't done this for an entire quarter, but they're just falling apart. So patience is really important. Taking the right shots is really important. Trying to force myself to the hoop is really important at this stage. And just being patient on defense and understanding, if there was an obvious steal there that I didn't get, is fine. Here's a good example of me forcing my way to the hoop. I'm not going to step back and hit that 3 because I'm concerned the algorithm is against me right now. So I need to keep going for another 30 seconds, another minute of this quarter, and really decide where it's sitting. That was a clean run to the hoop. This time his defense was out of position. So now I'm less concerned. I'm now more relaxed. Again, my defenders are not, they're not positioned well, but we are stopping him right now. And I'm really struggling to get my defenders in position here. He's getting offensive rebounds, then he gets bailed out again. So I'm fairly confident at this stage the algo is against me. Then this happens. Now, I don't know. We know how this works usually. You're going to make at least one of those 2 if you completely mess them up. And we got open. Now again, we're in the 4th quarter, and my players are about as tired as they're going to be at any point in this game. So I went back to running plays again. Again, rim running is just not really an option. It's important that I get Wade open. And then I kind of knew I had the game won. I told you guys in the previous video, I know when my opponent starts panicking. When they're panicking, you've won the game. Now we're defending really well here. He takes an absolutely horrendous shot, and that is absolutely a panic, nothing else. Managed to force our way through, get to the rim. So the game is over now. And if you think about where we were at the end of the 1st quarter, really halfway through the 2nd quarter, and now, we're getting steals at will. It's a big shift. If you'd watched the beginning of this game, you would have, and there's the rage quit, you would have thought that I was going to lose this game. Probably quite far into the game, you still would have assumed I'm going to lose. I'll be honest, I never really felt like I was going to lose, and I knew what was happening in the game, so it didn't affect me, it didn't stress me out, it didn't frustrate me. More importantly, it didn't make me deviate from my plan. So I just did the same thing in every game. I got the right defensive settings in place. I usually use that first quarter to figure out what the best defensive settings were. I played good defense. I made sure I was switching. I hurried my opponent so he didn't have space and time to make his decisions. These things never changed. And then really what I did is just mix up the offense. So a mix up between rim running with Reddish and Wade. I used plays when I needed to, and I used screens when I needed to. It was all dependent on that point in the game. But ultimately, as you can see, we're 4-0. Hopefully that's everything you need. Thanks for watching, guys.